I thought this was a little bit interesting for a couple reasons, and I'll get into that in just a bit. Zandra Harbit posted this in Looper. Mikey Madison and Sonia Ammar give their honest thoughts on the female-dominated Scream cast exclusive. When it comes to horror's track record for proper female representation in horror movies, let's just say it's less than ideal. The original Scream movie addresses this topic in 1996 when it dismantles the trope that only virginal women can survive, but it still displays more than a few toxic tropes on that front. However, Scream 5 takes the OG film's feminism and amps it up to 11 with a female-dominated cast of well-developed characters who serve as more than sex appeal and scantily clad objects. Between badass scenes featuring our favorite OG women and Gail Weathers, or our new final girl, Sam, and her crew of badass women, Scream 5 isn't lacking in the kick-ass women department. It's a nice change of pace from what fans are used to when they tune into the latest horror blockbuster. During an exclusive interview with Looper, Mikey Madison and Sonia Ammar both got candid on what it was like taking part in the female-dominated Scream 5 and how the movie handles the meta aspects of the franchise. The women of Woodsboro. In Scream 5, the women outnumber the men, which is a refreshing change of pace for horror. When asked Madison and Ammar if it was exciting to take on a female-dominated movie in this typically male-dominated genre, both women were pumped about the empowered direction of the film. Mikey Madison said, that was exciting to me to be in a movie with such incredible, strong women and really strong female characters was really exciting to me. That was exciting to me was, okay, I'm sorry, I lost on it. That's something that I want to hopefully do throughout my career. Sonia Ammar noted the overall representation in the film, adding, we love women, yeah. I think it was great that they included such bad, strong, cool female characters. Melissa's incredible in this film, and she's Latina, so that's great. That's great to have that. Yeah, I'm so excited. Madison noted how absurd the lack of representation in horror has been, replying, well, it was just great to be in a movie that represented the real world that we live in with queer characters and people of color. I think to ignore that is ridiculous. Of course, Ammar agreed. Let me pause that there for a second. So I pretty much agree with what they're saying. You know what kind of surprises me a little bit, and I've said this in one of my other videos before, because they banned Scream 6 in Lebanon, and I think I was probably the only person I know of that was thinking, like, you know what, they have two lesbian characters in Scream 6, which was Mindy and Annika. And I'm like, oh, we can't have that because that's woke. Because the conservative definition of woke means anything that it accepts blacks, gays, or women, or whatever, anybody who's not a straight white male. And I look at these last couple movies, and yeah, it was incredibly diverse. You had, I mean, obviously, like they just said, mostly female cast. You had some white male characters in the last few movies. I mean, you had Dylan Minnette playing Wes, Dermot Mulroney playing Wayne Bailey, and you had the character of Ethan played by Jack Champion. I mean, so there was some of that. Of course, Dewey was still there. He was killed in the last film. You know, David Arquette. Some of those people were still there. But, and I haven't come across this yet, and I might come across it soon, that I wouldn't be surprised to find out if they banned Scream 5 in Lebanon also, or in some other country or whatever, some other area. But we also have to remember these are horror films, and we know that, and I say this in almost every video, especially the videos where I'm talking about movies and shows, that horror films are generally, as a rule, not as well liked and as popular as other genres. I mean, almost any other genre just is above horror. I mean, you're talking, especially action, that goes without question. Action, drama, romance, and even a number of comedies. So obviously, these films didn't get massive media attention, and it probably wasn't enough for people to complain about it. So, in the sense that they probably just didn't even know about it. They're like, it's a horror film. Nobody's looking at horror films. We don't care. So, but I guarantee you, if this was anywhere near on the same level as anything Marvel or DC related, or even like on a Fast and Furious, Mission Impossible type level, probably would be a lot more controversial. Why? Because that's unacceptable. We can't have that. taking toxic fandom to the next level. On Scream 5, tackling toxic obsession and hero worshipping of real serial killers, Madison said, I think Scream has always been very self-aware, and the directors and writers wrote the movie in a really intelligent way. I think we really wanted the film to represent the real world that we live in within that Woodsboro universe. Between better representation, the franchise's first LGBT character, Mindy, and a healthy depiction of mental health, Scream has come a long way since 1996. Ammar added, it's really cool to see how the script was written. It was really well written, including the way it all intertwines together, like the legacy cast and the new cast and the story and all the fun Easter eggs and also the reasons for certain things happening. It all makes sense in the end when you watch it, and it's mind-blowing. It was very witty and intelligent and fun and very well done. If fans' reaction is anything to go by, it's safe to say that the film reached that mark. And that was Scream 5 that came out in January of 2022. I think the budget on the film had to have been between, I want to say 25 to 30 million, maybe close to 35 million. The box office was close to 139 million. So that's pretty okay for a horror film today. Scream 6, of course, did a little better. They improved that. You know, their budget was between 35 to 40 million, and their box office was 169 million. So, I mean, hey, look, I'm sorry to say it, and, you know, people will disagree, but I say, listen, I don't see anything wrong with this. That people say, hey, we want representation. All horror films just have the male-dominated cast, and this one kind of changed the game a little bit. So, yeah, I'm with them on that. Mikey Madison and Sonia Ammar, they played Amber and Liv in Scream 5, respectively. So, I say hats off to them on that. And look, just give me your honest thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? So, I got more coming. Tell me what you think. Like and subscribe.